Welcome back to the Norman Way. In the last episode, we explored the Norman landing at Bannow Bay and how they met up with Dermot MacMurrough and his army unopposed, and their first foothold in Wexford, particularly in Wexford town. Today, we uncover the castles they built and how these castles were fortresses that cemented their hold on this coast for centuries. Fethard Castle stands as a remarkable witness to Norman ambition and adaptation, while the imposing stone structure visible today dates mainly from the 14th and 15th centuries. Its origins trace back to the immediate aftermath of the 1169 invasion, when the Normans first constructed timber Motte-and-Bailey forts to quickly establish military dominance over strategic points along the coast. The moat, essentially an artificial earth mound topped with a wooden tower, was a hallmark of early Norman fortification strategy. This design allowed rapid construction, often within just weeks, providing an instant defensive stronghold. The bailey, or enclosed courtyard at its base, served as a vital hub for troops, horses, and supplies. As decades passed, these timber constructions gradually gave way to more durable stone castles, signalling the Normans' intent to not just conquer, but to settle and govern. At Fethard, the stone castle was developed in phases. The thick walls, rounded towers, and crenellations reflecting architectural trends of the 14th and 15th centuries. The castle also served ecclesiastical functions, being associated with the powerful Bishop of Ferns, whose dual role as religious leader and feudal lord helped cement Norman influence in the region. This blend of military and religious power created a complex dynamic. Castles were more than mere fortresses. They were administrative centres from which the Normans managed local affairs, collected taxes, and projected authority in an often hostile landscape. The architectural features of Fethard highlight the transition from rapid military conquest to long-term occupation. The narrow arrow slits designed were for archers, heavy battlements for defenders, and fortified gatehouses provided a formidable defence against both Irish raids and rival Norman factions. The late medieval additions, including thickened walls and improved living quarters, underscore how castles evolved from purely military bastions into centres of lordly residence and governance. Beyond defence, castles like Fethard controlled vital trade routes. Situated near a medieval port, the castle allowed the Normans to regulate commerce and communication, maintaining a lifeline to England and the European continent. This strategic control of ports, rivers, and trade was essential for sustaining Norman power in Ireland, ensuring that supplies, reinforcements, and news could flow unimpeded despite ongoing conflicts with the native Irish chieftains. Further along the coast stands Slade Castle. Built in the late 15th century by the Laffan family, prosperous Anglo-Norman merchants who wielded influence through trade and maritime power. Slade exemplifies the tower house style prevalent in late medieval Ireland. Vertical stone fortresses with thick walls, narrow windows for defence, and spiral staircases designed to slow attackers and protect defenders. Unlike the ecclesiastical linked Fethard, Slade was primarily a fortified residence, combining security with domestic comfort. Its location, near the fishing grounds off Hook Head, was crucial for controlling local economic resources and protecting maritime routes. The castle's imposing limestone walls, weathered by centuries of sea winds, still speak to a time when merchant families had to defend their wealth from pirates, rival clans, and competing Norman lords. Slade Castle also played a protective role for Tintern Abbey, a Cistercian monastery founded early in the 13th century, to be more specific, in the year 1200 by the Norman knight William Marshall, who was almost killed at sea and prayed to God that if he could make it to dry shore, he would build an abbey where he landed, and that's exactly what he did. The abbey was more than just a religious centre. It shaped agriculture, education, and culture throughout the region, its monks pioneering advanced farming techniques and manuscript preservation. The close relationship between castles and monastic sites illustrates the fusion of spiritual authority and military power in Northern Ireland, a dual system that helped stabilise and transform the landscape. Next, we come to Ballyhack Castle, constructed sometime around 1450 by the Knights Hospitaller of St. John's, a religious and military order renowned for their dual mission of warfare and medical care. Now, before Ballyhack Castle, it is believed that the site uses dates back even further, with evidence suggesting a preceptory may have been established there as early as the 12th century, possibly by the Knights Templar before being taken over by the Knights Hospitallers. Ballyhack's location was no accident. It overlooks the crucial ferry crossing on the River Barrow, connecting the southeastern coast to inland Ireland. Controlling this crossing meant controlling trade, troop movements, and communication between Wexford on one side and County Waterford on the other. The tower house here is characteristic of mid 15th century design. Thick defensive walls, narrow arrow slits, and a vaulted ground floor designed to resist attack and fire. The Hospitallers combined religious devotion with military vigilance, their presence underscoring the complex web of power that Norman Ireland had become, where faith and force worked hard and both hand in hand to maintain order and influence. The castle functioned as both a fortress and an administrative centre. From here, the knights could levy tolls on travellers and merchants, monitor enemy movements, and provide sanctuary for pilgrims and locals alike. It is believed that on the Wexford side, there would have been a chain connecting to the Waterford side. For any ships that tried to pass without paying tax, the chain was raised and the ship was either destroyed or badly damaged. Now, Ballyhack remained strategically significant for centuries, witnessing shifting allegiances and power struggles as Ireland's political landscape evolved through the Tudor conquest and beyond. Standing here, it's clear why the Hospitallers valued this place so highly. Rivers were the arteries of medieval travel and trade, and controlling crossings like this one meant controlling the lifeblood of the region. Our final stop on this coastal tour is Duncannon Fort, guarding the mouth of Waterford Harbour and the gateway to South East Ireland. Though the striking star-shaped bastions we see today were constructed in 1587 and after, the site's military history stretches back to the Norman times, with early fortifications built soon after the invasion of 1169. Duncannon represents the evolution of military architecture, transitioning from timber moats and stone castles to artillery forts designed to resist cannon fire, a reflection of changing technology and warfare. The Star Fort's angle bastions allow defenders to cover all approaches with overlapping fields of fire, while thick earthen walls absorb the impact of cannonballs. Yet beneath these bastions lie the remnants of Norman earthworks, connecting the site's layered past. It's amazing that this site here, first constructed by the Normans, only came under Irish control after the War of Independence and Civil War, hundreds of years later. Duncannon was a vital linchpin in controlling access to Ireland's southeast, guarding not only military routes, but also commerce and communications. The fort's adaptation over centuries underscores Ireland's contested history, from Norman invasion through English crown consolidation to later conflicts, including the Cromwellian Wars, and used also as lookout posts both during World War I and World War II. Here at Duncannon, history is layered beneath your feet. Norman knights, Tudor soldiers, and beyond. This site encapsulates the persistence and transformation of Ireland's defensive structures. Together, these castles formed a coastal chain that allowed the Normans to expand their reach, secure the trade routes, and impose new social and political order on southeast Ireland, and even beyond that. They tell a story of conquest and colonisation, settler colonialism, and from rapid military fortifications to established lordship, from timber to stone, from arches to cannons. Each fortress reflects the era in which it was built, the people who inhabited it, and the turbulent history of the land they sought to rule. Next time on the Norman Way series, we head inland to Fethard Castle, the heart of Norman Leinster, to explore political and religious centres that shaped medieval Ireland.